So this is The New Case for Gold by Jim Rickards. I bought this book last year and I still haven't read all of it because I've been very busy and that's just an excuse. So I'm going to begin by picking up at chapter 2, which is where I am. Gold is money. People are fascinated by gold not because it's shiny, but because it is money. Understanding this fact is the starting place for understanding gold. There are many kinds of money in the world, of course. At times, different forms of money have competed for a role in the leading global reserve currency. Today, the dollar, the euro, and Bitcoin are all forms of money. So is gold. What is money? A classic definition of money has three parts: medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account. If all three of those criteria are met, you have money of a sort. If you ask economists what is money, they reflexively assume that only fiat currencies printed by central banks qualify, and lapse into technical discussions about narrow or expanded versions of money supply called M3, M2, M1, or M0, which are all different. Each M is narrower than the one before. M0 is the narrowest, consisting of bank reserves and currency. M0 is also called base money, because it is the narrowest definition of money economists know. I call gold M sub 0 because even economists don't recognize it. It is the real base money behind the paper money supply. Why gold? Gold bashers are quick to disparage gold as a shiny metal or pile of rocks, as if to say it has no particular attraction as a form of money. Even sophisticated economists such as former Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke have described gold's discontinued storage in U.S. vaults as a tradition, with no suggestion that there was anything more useful to say about it. In fact, the use of gold as money is not only ancient but eminently practical. Recently, Justin Rowlett of the BBC World Service conducted an interview with Andrea Sella, professor of chemistry at University College London, in which Professor Sella provided an in-depth review of the periodic table of elements to explain why gold, among all the atomic structures in the known universe, is uniquely and ideally suited to be money in the physical world. We all recall the periodic table of elements from high school chemistry class. It looks like a matrix of squares. 1 square per element, about 18 squares wide and 9 squares high, with an irregular shape around the edges. Hydrogen and helium stand above their peers. Each square contains the name of an element and its one- or two-letter symbol, along with useful information such as the atomic weight, atomic mass, and boiling point. A total of 118 elements are represented this way, from hydrogen to unoctium. The important point for our purposes is that there is nothing physical in the known universe that is not made of one of these elements, or a molecular combination. If you're looking for money, you'll find it here. Professor Sella deftly leads us through a tour of the table. He shows that most of the matter in the universe is completely unsuitable for money. Then he zeroes in on the handful of elements that are suitable and singles out the one that is nearly perfect for this purpose: gold. Sella quickly dismisses 10 elements on the right-hand side of the table, including helium, argon, and neon. The reason is obvious. They're all gases at room temperature and would literally float away. They're no good as money at all. In addition to the gases, Sella rejects elements such as mercury and bromine because they're liquid at room temperature and are as impractical as are the gases. Other elements such as arsenic are rejected because they're poisonous. Next, he returns to the left-hand side of the table. which includes 12 alkaline elements such as magnesium, calcium, and sodium. These are no good as money either because they dissolve or explode on contact with water. Saving money for a rainy day is a good idea, but not if the money dissolves as soon as it rains. The next elements to be discarded are those such as uranium, plutonium, and thorium for the simple reason that they're radioactive. Nobody wants to carry around a form of money that might cause cancer. Also included in this group are 30 radioactive elements made only in laboratories that decompose moments after they are created, such as einsteinium. Most of the other elements are also unsuitable as money based on particular properties. Iron, copper, and lead don't make the final cut because they rust or corrode. It's bad enough when central banks debase your money. Nobody wants money that debases itself. Rowlett and Sella continue on their trip through the periodic table. Aluminum is too flimsy to use as coins. Titanium was too hard to smelt with the primitive equipment available to ancient civilizations. Once the process of elimination is complete, there are only 8 candidates to use as money. There are the so-called noble metals, situated about the center of the table, consisting of iridium, osmium, ruthenium, platinum, palladium, rhodium, silver, and gold. All of these are rare. Still, only silver and gold are available in sufficient quantities to comprise a practical money supply. The rest are too extremely rare, too rare to be money, and too difficult to extract because of very high melting points. Rowlett completes his tour de horizon this way. This leaves just 2 elements, silver and gold. Both are scarce but not impossibly rare. Both also have a relatively low melting point and are therefore easy to turn into coins, ingots, and jewelry. Silver tarnishes. It reacts with minute amounts of sulfur in the air. That's why we place particular value on gold. It turns out gold has one final attraction. It's golden. All the other metals are silvery in color except copper, which turns green when exposed to air. Beauty is not a prerequisite for money. Still, it's a nice attribute for gold, considering it passes every other test with flying colors. Our ancestors did not just use gold because it was shiny or beautiful, as modern critics suggest. Gold is the only element that has all the requisite physical characteristics: scarcity, malleability, inertness, durability, and uniformity, to serve as a reliable and practical physical store of value. Wiser societies than ours knew what they were doing. Of course, this list of virtues does not mean that gold has to be money. Today's money exists mostly in digital form. Electrons that store the digits don't rust either. Then again, they're not the least bit scarce. Just because money is digital doesn't mean it's not part of the physical world. There is no escape from the periodic table of the elements. Digital money exists as charged subatomic particles stored on silicon chips. Those charges can be hacked and erased. Gold atoms, atomic number 79, are stable and cannot be erased by Chinese and Russian cyber brigades. Even in the cyber age, gold still stands out as money non-pareil. Gold is not an investment. Gold is not an investment because it has no risk and no return. Warren Buffett's well-known criticism of gold is that it has no return and therefore no chance of compounding his wealth. He's right, gold has no yield. It's not supposed to because it has no risk. If you buy an ounce of gold and keep it for 10 years, you'll end up with an ounce of gold. No more, no less. Of course, the dollar price of an ounce of gold may have changed radically in 10 years. That's not a gold problem, that's a dollar problem. To get a return on an investment, you have to take risk. With gold, where is the risk? There is no maturity risk because it's just gold. It won't mature into gold in 5 years from now. It is gold today and always will be. Gold has no issuer risk because nobody issues it. If you own it, you own it. It is not anyone else's liability. There's no commodity risk. With commodities, there are other risks to consider. When you buy corn, you have to worry. Does it have bugs in it? Is corn good or bad corn? Is the same with oil. There are 75 grades of oil around the world. But pure gold is an element. Atomic number 79. It's always just gold. So if you'd like to hear more of this, please leave some comments. This is chapter 2 from Gold is Money, A New Case for Gold by James Rickards. He also wrote the New York Times best-selling book Death of Money. On the back you have quotes from a couple people, all 5-star reviews. I highly recommend it. I'd love to share more. Please leave some comments if you enjoyed. If you learned anything, please let me know what you learned, and hopefully I'll be broadcasting a lot more. Bye for now.